Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have my special guest, Stephen Storey, today. Thank you for joining me.
I appreciate you, Bunny. Thanks for having me on.
We're going to have so much fun. So for the few people out there who do not know who this handsome man is, I'm gonna intro you real quick, okay?
Thank you.
Today's special guest is Stephen Storey, entrepreneur, expatriate, bilingual. Oh gosh,
Capoeirista. I'm the guy who does capoeira.
I love it. Independent adjuster, and also teaches independent adjusting, and a great friend of Fort Worth Playboy and I. Stephen Storey is an endlessly fascinating man who is always great for easy conversation and interesting stories. No pressure, Stephen.
Hey, you know what? You need to know me. That's exactly who I am. That's exactly who I am. Thank you.
I love it.
I appreciate
it. So grateful that you are coming on the Bunny interviews today. I know that your time is precious and that you've designed a life to make sure that your time is well spent. So how would you describe what is a day in the life of your world like right now? I just kind of want to set the stage because you have a uniquely wonderful life.
All right.
By most people's standards.
Yeah, so this is so guys, I'm from Alabama. So if y'all hear the accent come out, that's where it's from. I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So my day-to-day life goes like this. So one, I do have a business and I take it very serious. I have a lot of systems and processes that I put in place to replicate myself and replicate the things that I want done in the business on the day-to-day. So I usually wake up and I'm checking analytics. That's the first thing. But that's like 10 or 15 minutes. I just want to look at my numbers. I want to see what people are doing. I want to check my emails, see if my students are asking me anything. Yeah. After that, I'm going to eat real quick and I'm going to the ocean. So for those of y'all who don't know, I live in Brazil. So it's always about 75 degrees to 85 degrees. So I usually go out, I get some orange juice or coconut water. I'll go swim for a bit. I get some acai after that and I'll walk back home. And then I'll probably take a nap. And then from there, friends will pop by because I live like on a main area. So friends will pop by throughout the day. They want to co-work with me. We'll eat lunch, something like that. And then I might do some more work in the afternoon. And then from there, I'll either go to the gym, I'll go to the gun range, or I'll do some capoeira that evening. So that's a regular day for me. I like to cook a lot. I like having people over, I like entertaining. So it's going to be a mix of basically what I just said day in and day out. But I'm usually going to be in the sun at some point. I'll be at the beach at some point,
Now, how long have you been in Brazil?
Since January 2019.
Okay. Yeah. That's fast.
So
and why did you choose Brazil specifically to kind of build this lifestyle?
I was living in Canada for a job. And so I lived like in the Rocky Mountains. I was like right there in Calgary. So anybody that knows Calgary, Banff is right there. It's like an hour and a half away. And that was cool, but it was just too far away. Nature was too far away for me. And it's just too cold. It's way too cold. So I'm like, where can I go? I can blend in. It's going to have the things I want, right? And so I was looking at Colombia, and I looked at like the Caribbean, I looked at Brazil. And so the city of Salvador, what hit the most, it hit what I needed as far as time zones, culture, and weather and people. And so that was it for me.
I love it. So you're much more of a beach person than a snow person, huh?
Yeah, I like now. Don't get me wrong, guys. I have hiked a lot of mountains. I really enjoy it, but the beach is it's better. It's better for me.
I love it. Yeah. That is awesome. Because Fort Worth and I always joke because we're in the South, in the United States. It's hot always. We have 11 and a half months of summer every year and 2 weeks of hard freeze. And that's about it. And I would live in the snow. My dream, my perfect life to live your lifestyle would be where I could chase snow all year round and just live where it's actively snowing every day.
No.
That is my dream.
I can't. I've done it. I don't got nothing. I don't have problems with the snow, but it's just like you can't see anybody. You just see their face. You know what I mean? Like you can't see bodies. You can't see like. There's a lot left. It's a lot left to the imagination when you're living in a snow climate.
Well, that's fair. That's true.
You
Bikinis over snow bunnies. I respect that.
Hey,
I respect that.
hey, you know.
Oh man. So how different were you in school? Like what were you like as a teenager?
As a teenager, like I was really focused. I was really focused on athletics. I was a track and field athlete. So like I didn't do the whole girl thing. I wasn't trying to date. I was prom king. No, I wasn't prom king. I was homecoming king. But that didn't really matter to me. You know, like I was always popular and I had a lot of friends, but like I did not care about girls in that regard. Like I just like whatever would stop me from training, I didn't care about that at all. You know, so it's just I was focused on when I was in high school, I was already making pretty good money. So like I would make the money I need to make and I would run track and that was it.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, are your parents still in Alabama?
Yeah, they're still in Alabama.
Awesome. Do you get to see them much?
I go home like once a year now.
Yeah.
I'll do like 2 months at home. So I'm about to go home in May. I'll be there for 6 weeks. So I'll be with them the whole 6 weeks, you know. So that's what I do now. But like I can't go back and forth to the States just on a whim now. It's just it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, you've created this lifestyle through hard work, through systems. You're surrounded by beautiful landscapes, great friends, great food, fitness, beautiful women.
Yep.
What would you say are your secrets for achieving this? I mean, how did you get here? How clearly you're a driven man. So how purposeful was exactly what you're living now, let's say 5 years ago? Were you always working towards this, or was this kind of a byproduct?
So a couple things. My camera's getting out of focus. So a few things about me. So I started reading The 4-Hour Work Week when I was in college.
I
knew that there was another way before I got into the workforce. And and I also knew about Salvador, Brazil a decade ago. So I already knew about it. And so I knew that if I kind of checked off some boxes throughout my 20s, that at my 30s, I could have freedom and do the things that look like, you know, what freedom looked like for me. And so the first thing I did was I got into an industry that I could make a lot of money in. That was the first thing. I think a lot of people.
That high income skill. Fort Worth and I laugh about this a lot because people will be like, just get a high income skill and then you can, and it's like, we need a little bit more direction than that.
No.
I'd like to give you one of those high income skills, please.
So let's go into that, right? So this is what I looked at. This is what I looked at when I was in college. So guys, I got into the insurance industry when I was 19 years old. So, and I got into real estate. So I had a real estate license and an insurance license by the time I was 20. And so I already had a base of if college didn't work out, I could do something and make a lot of money, right? And so I looked at competition and I looked at level of intelligence in that competition. And so if we're looking at like being a lawyer, being an accountant, a doctor, engineer, things like that, all my friends who are really smart, I was like, I don't want to compete against these people. I'm not going to win.
Right.
You know, or I'm going to compete. And then I looked at what is the outcome of this competition. So like I would see my friends that work really hard, they'd be lawyers, and they come out making $70,000 a year. That's cool. 70 grand is good money, but it's so much more to make. And so for me, I was like, that doesn't add up for me. Let's see what the limits are of how high you can go in other industries. And so I was looking at real estate, I looked at insurance, and everybody I knew that it was an insurance that was good at it had 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars, big houses, low stress. And so I was like, you know what? I'm doing insurance. Yeah. And it had a low barrier of entry. And that's another thing. I want to look at barriers of entry. How long is it going to take me to get a high income skill? And so I looked at competition, level of intelligence and competition, the outcome of that competition. And then also from there was the last part I just said, I forgot. But anyway, y'all heard it. But those 5 things is what went into making me choose the route I chose as far as income. And then it fit my personality as well. And so those are the things I picked. And then from there, I put the work in. I put a lot of work in.
I love it.
You know?
Did
And,
you have mentors along the way in
yeah.
the insurance, specifically in there,
Mhm.
that field?
Hell yeah. I had a lot of people that helped me out, like big time.
Was it always on the adjusting side? Because being female, of course, I've had at least one career as a marketing person. And what I did was I worked in disaster reconstruction, and I worked with insurance adjusters.
Yeah.
Specifically on the residential side. So I'm just curious, was your insurance experience always in adjusting, or how did you enter?
No, so I got in as a salesman, and I believe everybody should be in sales at some point in their life, especially if you want to learn how to persuade people. Just in general, I think sales is good. And so I started out selling insurance for Allstate. My mom had an agency. That's the other thing, guys. I won the lottery. My parents are business people. So like, my mom had an agency, nepotism hopped in, and, you know, I took it from there.
Hey, that's fair, because I mean, Fort Worth is awesome about talking about this, and you've jumped in with him quite a bit on, you know, the secret to wealth is number one, family money, or the family connections that it gets you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I get into insurance as a salesman, and then a few years go by. I'm finishing up college, but I hadn't finished college yet. I had like 6 months to a year left, and so I get an eye injury. It's like a really serious eye injury. I ripped my cornea up, not taking my contacts out. Didn't take my contacts out, and I tear up my eye. And so I have to withdraw from college.
Oh, wow.
And so my dad was like, all right, son, you got to make some money, you know? And so I was already in the insurance industry, but I was like, man, this is kind of lame selling insurance. So again, guys, behind every great man is his parents. So my dad had a good friend that had a bail bonding agency who was really, really good at it. He's like, well, look, I got a friend. You can go work with him as a bail bondsman. You're already licensed as an insurance adjuster. I mean, insurance salesman. This is just it's another license test you take, and you got it. So I did that, and I got into business. And then like from there, I had a bail bonding business for a couple of years, and I'm only 22, 23 at the time. Yeah. And so that really polished me up in business. And so outside of my parents, it was Ralph Williams. He was one of like 8 master bail bonds in the United States. And so I worked with him for 2 years, and he just gave me so much information on business. Then I had, some other guys, Mr. Bradford down there in Montgomery. He was an insurance professional, amazing guy. And then when I got into insurance adjusting, I had a few other people along the way. One of my cousins, he's an insurance adjuster.
Oh, again, awesome.
Family. You know, all these people were
is your cousin older? The cousin that was already in it?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, he's older. And so I kind of doubled down on the things they taught me. And then I was obviously reading and learning and just being open to being coachable, you know?
Yeah.
Like open to like, all right, I need to do what? All right, I'll do exactly that. And those things kind of got me to where I am now.
And I think that's huge because I feel like, and maybe this is, I might be showing my age here, but maybe it's just the times that we're living in now. I feel like fewer and fewer people are willing to be coachable. Fewer and fewer people are willing to not be the expert in the room while they're still learning. And I see that a lot on Twitter, where as soon as you start learning the skill, you decide to start teaching the skill. And I know that there's something to be said for, you know, you don't really know something until you are able to teach it, but you haven't had time to see everything. So you have to be able to be coachable. And it sounds like you were incredibly coachable because you saw the big picture.
And that's the other thing. I think, like, going back to your point about not being coachable, like in every period that I was in, when I just explained to everybody, I was willing to put in several years of work to get to where I wanted to be at.
Yeah.
I knew that, like, for example, when I became an adjuster, I was like, I'm going to sacrifice the next 5 years of my life to being excellent at this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to be an investor. I'm not going to try to do anything on the side. There is no side hustle. It is just this. I will only do this. I'm going to get very, very good at this. And after, we'll look up. And so 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. If I need to live in Houston, if I need to live in California, if I need to live in Greeley, Colorado, Frederick, Maryland, wherever I got to live at, whatever I got to do for this business, this is what I'm going to do. And I think that the thing about it is, it's not a get rich quick thing, but my lifestyle increased immediately when I pursued the excellence in my career. And I think that whether that's the people we see on social media or whoever it is, I think that you're not going to get excellent at anything until you can be coached at it,
Completely. It sounds like you were truly surrounded by a lot of great coaches.
Mm-hmm.
On all walks of life, and family, not family, all of it. That's amazing. Mm-hmm. I love it. Now, do you still keep in pretty close communication with these mentors? I mean, aside from family, which is pretty obvious, but the ones who really helped you come up in the industry, do you still keep in pretty close contact with them?
Ralph Williams, he passed several years ago. This was like my first one. So he was probably 12 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. So he passed like 5 years ago.
Gotcha.
He was already in his 70s. And then Cedric Bradford, he has a serious business he's running, know? So like a lot of it's just like, I'm busy now. Like I'm busy doing the things they told me to do. So I don't get to talk to him so much. I don't get to talk to him as much as I would like. But when I do talk to him, I tell them how things are going. And they're usually proud of me.
But you're also paying it forward by teaching others, because how long has it been since you've been actively working as an insurance adjuster rather than teaching others how to have a high income skill that allows you to have this lifestyle?
It's been 3 years now since I started teaching other people.
Okay.
So it's been since I started in 2015. So wow, 8 years. 8 years.
Wow.
That flew by. That flew by. That's a lot
of success for a 5, 6, 20-year-old.
No, it is. Guys, let me tell y'all something. Don't be ashamed of being 5'6", okay? I am 5 foot 6 inches tall. Okay. It may not look like it on camera, but to be a short man, you gotta walk in there and be proud of it, okay?
Oh my God, we die. We die every time you do that.
People believe it. I laugh every time because guys are like, yeah, for real, you really are 5'6". I'm like, yeah, bro, I really am. Like, do y'all not see these pictures? But
you definitely have a great sense of humor. I think that pretty much everything that we talk about here at home and that we kind of lead people into, I feel like you are living in the greatest way. You have a wonderful sense of humor, yet you're highly intelligent and driven and serious. I mean, you've got a great business and yet you've got a great social life. You really seem to have struck the perfect balance, Yeah,
and that's hard. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, it was quite hard to do. And full transparency, I missed several Christmases. I missed every holiday for years. I spent a lot of time alone, a lot of time, like more time than most people are willing to spend alone to get where I got, And so I spent a lot of time as a new guy in a lot of cities and didn't get to make friends because of work schedules. And, so like now I'm just kind of catching up to some things I should have done. Not should have done, but some things I missed out on in my 20s.
That makes sense.
But at the same time, I feel like it's so much more fun to do it now in my 30s because I have money. So I'm not,
it goes a long way.
Right. I'm not
I mean, so many problems of life truly can just be solved with earning more money, having more money, whether you earn it or not. But there's something to be said for earning it, and then enjoying it. I love it.
Enjoying it. That's the other part. I think a lot of guys I see, and I was telling a guy, he's probably doing like $300K a year. And he was like, yeah, man, I need to start hiring people to, he's like, I really want to, basically he was saying, I want to have more fun. And I was like, look, you have the money. Just hire some people and go have some fun. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not winning any awards because you go to work every single day.
I think there's a lot of fear involved that the money's not going to last, that you're not going to be able to get another job if the money doesn't last, if this career doesn't work, or if this business that you're building doesn't work, that,
Right.
you know, we all have, whether we have family money or not,
Mhm.
there's a safety net for 99.99% of us.
Well, and I'll take
And
it a
yet
step
the
further.
fear just completely stifles people, I think.
Right. I'll add on to that. So I'll say two things. One is, a lot of people don't think they deserve happiness and they don't deserve fun. They feel like fun is like back when we were in high school or in college or we were in elementary school. If you do your homework, then you get to play. All right.
Yeah.
But if we think about that, right? Imagine you were back in school and all the other kids are playing because they did their homework. And you're like, I'm gonna do more homework before I play. Everybody would look at you like you're crazy. But we become adults. Well, if I just do all my homework for the year today, then I can have fun tomorrow. No, it doesn't work like that. We gotta have some time.
That's a great analogy.
And then the next thing I would say is the safety nets. Guys, everybody has two safety nets, whether you know it or not. Here they are. 1 and 2. You got two safety nets right here. And you can take care of yourself if you just think through things and be creative. Like I've had a few businesses now. Some of my businesses worked out, some of them didn't. But what I found was my biggest safety net has always been at the end of my two arms, working out something, making up a new idea and taking it from there. And so if you're confident enough to say, hey, look, however this works out, I know that I can take care of it. I can handle it. Let's go for it.
Preach. Yes. That's awesome.
That's how we gotta think.
I'm going to church. I love it.
It takes the fear out of everything. It takes the fear out of the risk. It takes the fear out of the fun that you get to have, right? Like, you don't have to, like, what's the point of making this money? What's the point of sacrificing all these years of your life if in turn you're going to be scared the whole time? Well, what about when I retire? You might not make it to retirement age. Like people are checking out of here every single day. And
people do because we're in fitness, and you've even had some forays into the fitness field, haven't you?
I have.
You know that people will put off retirement or put off fun until retirement, but then by the time they're retired, they're in such poor health and such poor physical condition, they don't enjoy it.
They can't do anything. They're in pain.
All their pictures at Disneyland are of them in wheelchairs or sitting down on a bench struggling for breath. I mean, it sucks. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And in all fairness, people, I know that as a female, I have the additional, I always have the additional safety net. People love to call me out on, well, of course you have a safety net. You're a girl. It's true. It's
what
true.
About it?
That's
what about
part
it?
of my safety net.
Yeah, but what's the problem? Like, my thing with guys, when guys try to do this whole gotcha thing with women, it's like, but you're a girl. Well, do you want to be a woman? Is that it?
Yeah.
Are you jealous of women? Would you like to be a woman? Or would you like to advocate your role as a man? Is that what you want?
Great point.
Like,
great
I don't
point.
get it. But anyway.
I love it. Okay, so what I'd like to ask you about, because you just posted some stuff about it a few days ago, and I've been watching you on Twitter, I've been watching you on Instagram, I've been watching you on YouTube. You were cranking, but it looks like you've got some new content coming, and I'd love to hear about like what this project is, because you've done a lot of like hinting at new stuff coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Spoiler alert! I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna talk to y'all about it first, and we'll get into it.
You heard it here first, people.
You hear it here first. So I'm going to the studio after this call. So like an hour and a half, I'm gonna go to the studio and I'll shoot the last portion of this content. So one is I'm re-recording my insurance adjusting course. That's the first thing. Because when I recorded the first time, I was just like, I did it in my house and I was just kind of messing around and it worked. And so now I'm like, hey, let's polish it up. Let's make it nice and pretty.
That's awesome.
Let's put it back out there again with some new information. And then from there, I haven't been insurance adjusting for like the last 2 years, almost 3 years now. So no, 3 years. No, hold on. 2 years. 2 years. It's been 2 years since I haven't adjusted. So anyway, long story short, I have learned how to make money online, and not just make money. I learned how to make a really good income online from a skill that wasn't sexy. So like I learned how to do insurance, and then I taught people how to do that. But I thought about it and I was like, it's so many other people who are experts in things, but they don't know how to monetize that online. They don't know how to build a social media presence. They don't know how to make out courses that sell. They don't know how to do all the systems around all that. And those are things I've learned over the years. And now I want to teach other people how to do that. And I got plenty of proof to show for it. I got thousands of students. I got 140 something 5-star reviews on one course alone. I've been the top 200 creators in the world already for the platform called Gumroad. So, it's a lot there. And I want to continue helping other people, but I want to start teaching other coaches and experts and other people who've been successful in things in life, how they can show that success and teach other people. Because if we can do that, we adding to the greater good. There's more people who can learn from people who actually know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're not getting drowned out by just a bunch of Johnny-come-latelys who just happen to have a camera and they know a little bit more about the internet than you do.
Well, and that's something that I appreciate about the work that you do is that most of your monetary success has come through the insurance adjusting field.
Mm-hmm.
However, you also, as much as you encourage people to do that and to, follow your system in a way or your footsteps, you also recognize that there are a lot of industries that could have similar successes. And like you said, sometimes it's the unsexiest businesses that make the best money.
Exactly. Like, if I could I remember there was a guy who owned what's it called? It's not a dump yard, but it's like where they take abandoned cars.
Like the junk collection. We talk
about
the
junk yards, right? And so
junk. We've watched
documentaries
on this guy. It's phenomenal. He's swimming in garbage that is gold. I mean, it's just
exactly because people need it, right? And so you get several acres and you just start buying abandoned cars.
Yeah.
People need parts from those cars at any given time. And they come down there to pull apart places, and they're making $2 or $3 million a year off of this. So it's not sexy at all. It's not super IQ. It's not competitive, but it's an extreme return on investment.
Yeah.
Time investment, right? And so that's another example for everybody. Like, just audit. I like to audit things. I like to audit myself a lot. And that's what my framework of thinking is like, all right, so what's all in this and what can I get out of this? And I encourage y'all to do that. If you want to get a high income skill, if you want to invest in something, use that framework.
That's great advice. Now, how does that track with the ladies? Because I'm still me, so I want to talk about some sexy stuff.
What would we like to talk about?
Insurance.
Women.
I want to talk about you being surrounded by beautiful women everywhere you go, especially in Brazil.
Let's we got so much to talk about now. I got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. Let's start with new guy game. Okay, new guy game. So
that's good.
Here's the thing. I have lived in several major U.S. cities. And so I did Miami, I did New York, I did DC, I did Houston, I did Dallas, I did Austin, I did Denver, I did Atlanta, Georgia, Nashville. Calgary is not in the United States, it's in Canada, but I've done a lot of cities and the dating scenes in those cities. And I had to compete with all these guys. And so a couple things that do not work, first of all, as far as new guy game, and that might be for y'all traveling salesmen.
Yeah.
If you don't know where anything is in the city, forget about it. You're not getting anybody. You're not going to pull a girl. If you do pull a girl, you're not making an impression. So here's my advice. You need to know this, like the cities that you're living in, you need to know some hot spots ASAP. So either you need to get with a guy, a friend, an old frat brother, whatever it is. You need to get a way to get a lay of the land. All right. Maybe you got to get in the car, ride around a bit. Okay. You need to do something like that, but you need to know where some hot restaurants are, some hot bars, some hot clubs off the rip. Okay. Before anything. Next thing is, if you're doing any type of temporary living like Airbnbs, hotels, or anything like that, spend the money to get something nice. Okay. I'm not talking to guys who don't have means. Okay. So this isn't you. Just close your ears until I finish talking about this. So you want to be able to stay in nice places that's close to these hot bars, clubs, and restaurants.
Yeah.
And then whether that's an apartment, as far as like Airbnb or a hotel, but even if you're going to get a place, you got to have something in a popping area. All right. Going to the suburbs because it's cheaper is only going to shoot you in the foot as far as women are concerned. Women don't like traveling 45 minutes to go see you at some random Applebees out, outside the city limits. It's not going to work. Okay.
I have to interrupt you for a minute because literally this morning I woke up to a comment on one of our podcasts and it said, "I'm in the UK and you keep referencing this. What is an Applebees?" I was like, it's the most mid-level American restaurant on the planet. It was so funny. I cracked
But they don't know it. They don't know Applebees. So yeah, Applebees. So let's keep going. So that's the first thing. The next thing I would say is, guys, like, I'm into fitness. Okay. When you are in these cities, or if you're just a new guy, you move to a new city or anything like that, because you don't have the status of being one of these influential men in the city, everything else has to speak for you, right? Yeah. So it's how you dress, it's how you carry yourself, and then your body, okay? So, like, you don't have to be I'm charismatic, and I'm a pretty conversationalist, but if you got a broad back, nice shoulders, and you got a nice haircut, you're going to make it. Yeah. More than likely, so keep yourself in order, man. Like, it's not hard to go to the dentist every 6 months, get your teeth clean. Go to the barber, get a haircut that fits you and your age and your personality and how you like to present. And then the next thing is get some decent clothes. It doesn't cost a lot of money to dress decently. Okay. Right. It's easy to dress well when you're fit, by the way. So that's the general idea of new guy game as far as you're new in a new city. And that's something that's really worked well for me. Also, another thing, as a new guy, you cannot rely on dating apps alone because it just doesn't work. It takes too long. It takes too long. Like, when you're out and about, you got to approach, you got to talk to people. You see a cute girl, hey, how you doing? I'm new here. That's new guy game, guys. I'm new here. Do you know where this is? Where is this at? Where can I go for? Oh, it's like if you do that long enough, you're going to start making friends and you're going to start getting dates, so. Yeah.
Well, and the online dating stuff, it's a lot more of a long game. I think it's a longer game than people would like it to be. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of misconceptions about that you're needing to chat her up and take a long time on the app once you met. No, you need to get her in front of you as soon as possible. So it's if you're comfortable approaching. And how do you think, although I don't think that this has ever been a problem for you, mm-hmm. How do you think the best way to develop a comfort with approaching girls is if you don't have the confidence or the just natural charisma that you have?
Right. So one thing I would say for everybody is, I'm going to say this again, get in the gym. You got to get in the gym. Okay. Being in the gym, working on yourself is going to give you more confidence in general. I'll say the next thing is smell good. Right. So like, take some time, go to JCPenney or wherever y'all get your cologne at. All right. And just take some time and get 3 or 4 scents. All right. Yes. But why? Because when you approach somebody and she smells you and you're looking good, you got a nice haircut, you're well groomed and everything, you ain't got to do nothing but say, hey. And she like, wow, this guy smells good. And, wow, he's all right. He looks like he works out. He got something going on for himself. These are just, but also it gives you more confidence. Yeah. Hey, I got cologne on today. I'm finna say hey to somebody.
And women remember scents. That locks in our minds so heavily. So it matches to you. It becomes your scent, even if it's the most basic fragrance that, other people are wearing. If you're wearing it, it sticks with her. It's a big deal.
Exactly. And so these are all things these are all things that happen before the introduction, before you say hey. And then another thing is, you cannot be committed to the outcome. Stop being married to the outcome. I'm just going to say, hey. I'm just going to say, hey, to 10 people today. All right. I'm going to just ask everybody how they doing. And if you stop being committed to the idea of what's going to happen next, and just, I'm going to do my part and we'll figure out what they're going to do later. If you do that, it's going to go a long way. I had a friend of mine in California, and I'm pretty charismatic. But he's like a whole nother level. Like, he's like,
really?
Like, he's like, we're in LA. And so he's exactly what I'm saying, but he's like actually 5'6". So it's me and him walking around, and he's talking to every woman.
Wow.
Every single woman. And it was like, he was like, hey, I think I know you from somewhere. Hey, I think I know you from somewhere. Hey, I think I know you from somewhere. But it was never creepy. Like, really, you know me? Oh, what's your name? My name is Mark. Oh, okay. But he was like very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like, he has so much confidence just in his introduction.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, I want to get this girl's number. He's like, I want to introduce myself to you. And so by doing that,
that's a long way.
Yeah. And so he does this, and he does not have a problem with women at all.
Yeah.
You know? And that's my challenge to you guys is like, be outcome independent and just do your part. You know, so things like something
I
I
love
told
in
you.
your example that he is also, a shorter man.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's huge.
And not only is he short, he was doing it in front of me. We're together.
Yeah.
We are together. Like I'm with him, and he's not being overshadowed by me, you know? And so it's like, you don't have to get off the internet and get in the real world, you know? And you'll be surprised at your results, you know? And Buddy, keep going, because I got a lot more to talk about. I don't want to get stuck on it.
Good. I love this. Where do you want to go next?
I'm with you. Hey, look, I'm with you. You lead the way, all right?
Okay, I really want to hear, this does not have to do with girls, but it might.
Okay.
I want to hear about your martial arts that I can't pronounce. Capoeira.
Capoeira. So Capoeira is a martial art that was created here in Brazil. It is a fighting style that is disguised as a dance. So when you see it,
I've watched a lot of video of it, and it's very cool.
Yeah, it's a beautiful martial art to watch. There's two styles, and so when you see like a lot of flips and backflips and cartwheels and handstands, it's called more of a presentation style of capoeira. So we're doing that for a person who's never seen it, and we just want you to see it and see all the beauty of it, the art of it, right? Then there's a martial portion of it, which is like real fighting.
Yeah.
And it's quite dangerous because
there's don't know a lot of power in those legs.
It is, and there's a lot of spinning kicks, and there's a lot of like they hide kicks in a way where for a person who might be used to Muay Thai or boxing or something like that or grappling, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know that was coming.
Exactly.
And so you can get somebody off guard. But the thing with capoeira is it's not meant to be a, I hit and you hit, I hit, you hit thing. It's like I hit you and I'm trying to get away after that.
Yeah.
As far as me and a person is not a practitioner of capoeira, when I hit them, I'm trying to create distance to get away. I'm not trying to beat you up or knock you out. If I kick you in the chest, there's not gonna be another kick. I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more of a defensive style of martial art.
Did you just discover it when you moved to Brazil, or did you already have an interest in it?
I had an interest in it like probably 10 years ago, but it was nobody to practice with. There's no Brazilians in Alabama, so like I didn't really get to practice until I got here.
Are there any girls in it? Do girls do it?
It's a lot of women.
Huh?
It's a lot of women in capoeira.
Really? Are they hot?
Yeah. It's some really pretty women that do it. Yeah, it's
Is it something that you compete in, or is it strictly for the practice of it?
You compete just like any other martial art. They have competitions all around the country, all around the world, really. But they have competitions often in this. So
that's awesome.
It can get pretty intense too.
Do you have to run kind of like long goal gym game with girls in the studio, or how do you pick up girls in capoeira?
First of all, you got to be good. All right, they don't want to.
I bet so. You have to be like one of the badasses of the group.
Yeah, but then from there, it's just like if she's attracted to you and you're attracted to her, it's just from there, it's just like, hey, what's up? How you doing? What's your name? Blah blah blah. And it's just any other situation.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge proponent. I'm not a huge supporter of hollering at women at the gym or any gym for that matter. I've done it, but I don't like to do it.
Yeah. Well, there is a certain balance whenever you keep those things separate.
Yeah, it is. It is. Because like, if you only got so many time, if you only have so much time to go to the gym per day, and at the same time she goes to the gym, and you don't plan on doing anything kind of serious with this woman, you're gonna have to switch your gym time. You know?
You're just gonna fuck yourself up. It's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's
So
true.
that's that. But you know, you do what you want to do. Y'all all grown, so do what you feel like doing.
Well, we get a lot of questions, of course, being in our field about gym game and about like where the best places to meet like fit women are.
Let me tell you my look. All right, y'all. Let me tell y'all.
Yeah,
So
bring it.
So I pulled a few women out of the gym because I travel a lot and I live in a lot of places. But so the last time I pulled a girl was like last fall. So it was like September, October. And so the gym I go to here in Brazil is like where all the famous people go to, all the rich people and all the famous celebrities and artists and stuff like that. Now, because I don't watch Brazilian television, I don't know everybody that's famous here.
Yeah.
So some people are just normal people to me. And so it was this girl, she's a woman, she's not a girl, she's a full-grown woman. I'll show you her after, Bunny. I'll show a picture of her because anybody's Brazilians watching this, you're gonna know who she is. But anyway, so I never knew her name. And so like I'm like 210 pounds. She's like maybe like 175, fucking
Ooh.
jacked. And like,
yeah.
But what happened? So here in Brazil, I got to give a lot of background story, guys.
This
So
is
here in
such a
Brazil,
good story. I can tell.
People aren't prudes. So women come here when they go to the gym. It's a lot of cleavage. It's a lot of ass showing, butt cheeks hanging out, the whole nine. Like this is what they do here, and so you get used to it. If all the other guys aren't freaking out, you don't freak out either. You just keep it cool.
Yeah.
And so I was training solo. And I had seen this girl a few times. I had made a point to start just waving to her, like saying, hey, nothing committal, but I'm doing my part. Like I told her earlier, I'm going to do my part. I'll see her. Hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Like that. So one day she was like, I said, hey, how you doing? She's like, oi, amor. So she said, hey, love. And I was like, oh, shit, hold on now. You got a little something. Because my name ain't Amor. My name is Steven. And so I was like, who is she? So I go to, I knew she takes pictures at the gym, but I didn't know her Instagram name. I didn't want to ask her Instagram name. So I just went to the geotag on Instagram and I found her and she had an American flag in her bio and she was trying to come to the United States. So I was like, she speaks English. So I speak English and Portuguese, guys. For those of y'all who don't know, we talked about it, but I'm fluent in Portuguese. I speak really good Portuguese. Knowing this, I spoke broken Portuguese to her on purpose, right? So I was like, hey, so I see her the next day. I was like, hey, I was looking for you. I didn't see you at the gym yesterday. She was like, oh, what? I don't understand what you're saying. And I said it again, but I said it in broken Portuguese again. And I was like,
language game.
Right. So she was like, I said, I'm American. My bad. My Portuguese is bad sometimes. She's like, oh, we can speak in English. So we switched to English. Come on, guys. What did I do? So now I put everything on I'm on home court advantage now.
So good.
So she's just like lighting up now. She's like, wow, you're American. Wow, I'm trying to go to America. I'm just like, oh, for real? I didn't know that. I knew already, So from there, we another thing is I cook really well. So I was like, yeah, I can cook some American food for you. She's like, really? So yeah, we can go to my house. I can cook in my house. She's like, for real? You would do that? I'm like, hell yeah, I would. And so I'm just reeling her in. And she wound up being insane in bed. So long story short, it was great. We had a little situation for a few months and we ended that. And she moved out. She left Brazil. She left and started living elsewhere. But that's
awesome.
That's the short version of the story. But yeah.
Well, that's like Fort Worth always likes to, like, once a month or so, he'll like on Twitter, he'll say, who's the biggest celebrity that you've ever, fucked or dated, or, who's the most famous person you've ever been with. Yeah. So is Zach the most famous person you've ever been with?
No. I had to say that off camera, but yeah.
I love those kinds of stories. Sorry, sorry.
But the thing is, like, I think for I would tell a lot of guys is like these people are like, these women are right there. They're right there. They want you to make a new adventure with them. They want you to be interesting, and they're trying to live. They don't have to live vicariously through you, but like they want to live in the world that you construct. And so it's like, make it fun for them, right? Like, you know, like in this situation, I'm not new. It's not new guy gangs. I've been living here for several years, but like I'm a foreigner, so I take her to a place she never been before in her own city, showing her different things because I know the city well, and so I can display a level of what's the word? Not compatibility, not comprehension. I'm only thinking in Portuguese right now. I forget the word, Bunny. But competence. The word is competence. Women want competent men, and so you got to show your competence. And if you can't do that, you're gonna have a problem with any woman anywhere.
Yeah, it's true.
But
and these women, especially women like at the level of this woman that you're talking about right now, you know, they still just want to be girls.
They are women. Yeah.
You know, you fawning all over her because she's some, you know, Brazilian celebrity is no different, does not set you apart from anyone else, while treating her like any other woman that you would be meeting on, you know, in the gym or elsewhere. That goes a long way, because that puts her back on her feet, like you said.
Exactly. Like, I think that's the other thing with men that are chronically online. You're putting women on pedestals that just happen to have a lot of followers. You don't even know she bought those followers. So you're like, oh man, she has all these followers, and oh man, look at this photo. She's so hot, bro. And now you're talking yourself out of being dominant, being a leader, being competent when in your interactions with her, because you like, but she probably has 1,000 guys in her DMs. And like,
even fours have that. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's ridiculous at this point.
I agree. And so like, I have a few rules in place. And guys, I don't want to hear shit about y'all being like, I'm ugly or I'm out of shape. These are the rules. I don't talk to women online for romantic reasons. I just don't do it ever. I stopped doing it, and I don't do dating apps. I stopped doing both of them because, like, I think one thing, again, let's go back to what I talked about earlier, is audits. You need to audit yourself and your capabilities, right? So if you are, for example, a short man, do not go to the club. Under no circumstances you try to holler at women in clubs and bars, because I'm there. So are all the other tall guys. And it's apparent that you're a little guy in a club or a bar. So you need to be talking to women in day-to-day interactions, in regular places. Don't go to the club. If you're a good conversationalist, you don't need to be in loud places. You know, if you're really good at certain things, you need to find a way to highlight those things. I'm not talking about video games here. I'm talking about like the guitar.
Thank you.
You know, talking about like things that other people can participate in, or at least watch you doing it, right? And so you got to find ways to showcase that. You got to play to your strengths. But like, I am a lot in person, but on a dating app, I'm just some guy. So I know that, and because I know that, I take out what doesn't work for me. I take out because I don't like Instagram, so I'm not posting all these cool things on Instagram. So, but if I get a woman to come out with me one time, she wants to come out again because she sees my lifestyle. And that's something that I hold private and I don't post on the internet. And so if you know that's how you are, lean into that. But that's going to require you to say hey to everybody, dress like you got some sense, get a freaking haircut, do something about your teeth every once in a while, you know. But anyway, we can keep going.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think that resonates with a lot of people, because even I feel like, particularly in our kind of Twitter neighborhood that we hang out in, that there's a lot of pressure on things like height that no one has any control over. You know, how am I gonna have lifts in my shoes that are this high? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So I think that there are a lot of factors that people feel that men like to believe are limiting, but really, like you say, they just need to play to their strengths. Like you said, you know, not being in the club trying to pick up women if you're, you know, under average height, under, you know, but the day-to-day interactions and the exposure that gets you to a lot of women is huge.
I agree. I agree. And I think like, because a lot of my really good friends are bigger guys as far as weight, and they're shorter guys. I only have a few friends that are similar to me in body type and looks. So, and those guys never get overshadowed by me. They always, they still pulling women like, like it ain't, if you ain't pulling, it's because of you. It ain't because of they don't want to talk to you. Do you know how many women like big guys? Do you know how many women like, I know women that like ugly guys. They actively want ugly men. All right. Because they find like that they like the whole rustic rough look, so
exactly.
You don't know. You're thinking you're thinking for them. Like my dad say all the time, let people vote for themselves. Let these women vote for themselves and say what they like. But if you are being a shrinking violet all the time on a wallflower, how can these women get to know you? You want them to take the role of a man and start approaching you? That's what you want.
It's true. It's true. Whenever, so I had a similar lifestyle growing up where we had a running joke in our family that we never traveled anywhere. We only moved there. So with very rare exceptions, if I have not been there, it's because I haven't lived there yet. And so if I live anywhere for longer than like 2 years, I start to itch. I'm like, why is nothing boxed up? Why are we not leaving? But when I lived in Wisconsin, I had 4 best friends. So there were 5 of us total. And we all worked in the same place. And we worked with the public, and it was tons of fun. But every one of us had a completely different type of man that attracted us. It was fascinating. And I've never seen this so obviously than in that situation. So the rugged guy would come in and be like, oh, hey, calling, one of my girlfriends, or the super preppy guy would come in, and, mine were like the guys who own the gyms. It's like, hey, I mean, everybody had a type and everyone knew others' type, but it really was remarkable because I do feel like men have a limiting belief that we all want the same kind of man. And there are certain qualities that carry over, confidence, general just skills and leadership and things of that nature. But as far as your appearance, go with, like you said, get an age appropriate haircut, get clothes that fit, fix your grill, all of this stuff that make you the best version of you goes a long way.
And it makes you much more confident. Like, if y'all knew the men these women were sleeping with, you'd be mad at yourself for holding back. And not like I think to me personally, I think some of the most charismatic and probably the most stone cold players, like real deal, just like I'm talking to every girl I see, were short guys and ugly guys.
Yeah.
Without exception. Like if I approach as many women as some of my friends approached, I'll already probably be on my 3rd marriage and have like 10 kids. It's too much for me, but with them, like, they're unapologetic. They're approaching every single time. They don't care.
Oh my gosh. So I want to kind of wrap up, but because I know that you've got places to be and things to do.
Oh, we got
business
time.
to build. But I do want to hear, what is your best piece of relationship advice that you most universally think applies to men?
Stop trying to make women happy.
Yes,
that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. I think, like, I hear so many guys, and I'm gonna call them good guys. I hear so many good guys. They're in relationships with their girl for a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever. And like, I'm just trying to make her happy. I got her a house. I got her a car. She barely has to do anything around the house. I'm cooking and cleaning everything. I'm like, well, that sounds cool. And he's like, but we haven't had sex in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Bro, there's no chemistry there. You know? There's no balance. You're not making her do anything. No. She just has to exist, and she gets everything. Why would she give you sex?
Exactly. Exactly.
Why would she do the things you want her to do? Because for her, you're all in. You're super committed. And not only are you super committed, you're super committed to not getting anything.
Right. Well, and what is it that you always say about making them feel all the feelings?
I'm here to help a woman feel all the human emotions she can feel.
Yes.
I want her enraged with me. I want her jealous. I want her freaking depressed. I want her extremely happy. I want all of it.
And she wants that.
Yeah. And so why are you depriving her of that? You know? And so like, I'm not saying go be a dickhead, but when you need to make a decision about certain things, and it's going to hurt for a bit, but she's going to cry. Women cry all the time, bro.
It's just what we do.
It's what they do. Exactly. So it's like, and one thing I also learned was that, you know, wherever a woman is with you for a reason, right? And so you can't deprive her of those things that are you, right? So like if you are a expressive man, or you're a dominant man, or you're a big guy or something like that, what I've learned is you're not going to break her by giving her more of that thing, right? So like if you're a bigger guy, right? Let's say sex, for example.
Yeah.
She's like harder, and you're like, you kind of like hold back a little bit. Just go ahead and give it to her.
Yeah.
You're not going to break
She'll
her.
tell you if it's too much.
Yeah, she'll always tell you if it's too much. And so it's like, I find that that's on the sexual side of things, but it also goes over into the relationship side of things.
Yes.
Where you want to give her an opinion, but you hold back. You're like, well, I don't want to make her mad. No, just go ahead and give it to her all the way, and she'll respect you more for it later. And if she feels bad in the moment or sad or whatever, you'll be all right. Y'all can talk about it another time. But I find that a lot of men are not giving who they really are to the relationship, as far as their opinions. Like I said, sexually speaking as well. We talked about this before the call. Like, I find that a lot of men, because they are repressing themselves sexually, they're not making a space for women to open up and be sexually, just be sexually open in general. Like, whatever that might be that she likes, because for women, they have a lot more fantasies than we have around sex.
Oh, I agree.
And, and by you like, she's thinking in her head, he won't even go hard on me in doggy style. How in the world could he slap me in the face?
Right.
During sex. How could he come?
Hold that thought. Sir, can you come back? I'm in the middle of something. Please close the door. Sorry. Maintenance just walked in. Carry on.
So like the thing, like whatever that looks like as far as what a woman wants to do sexually, you got to be open first to do that. You got to set the tone to be open and say, hey, look, what we're going to do, we're going to do it here. It's going to be nice. It's going to be consensual, and we're going to have a good time doing this. But that, like I said, it relates to your relationship with women and how you view women. And I think that allows you to kind of take a woman off another type of pedestal. It's like this whole like princess fragile thing. Like, women are a lot more durable than you think, man.
Yeah, that princess wants to get her hair pulled and her ass slapped. Like, she wants to be hard fucked. A lot of times, I feel like women actually, what turns them on when you're in the bedroom or in sexual situations is far more extreme than the man would have initially imagined.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing, is like, just go for it. Yeah. Just go for it. Like, if you
can always back it off.
Yeah. And you can always say, hey, look, what are the limits around this? What do you want to explore tonight? Or, ask. Like I was telling Fort Worth, and I'll tell you all this, because I feel like telling you all this. So
we have a lot of great convos.
I meet her out with a group of friends. So it's like me and my friend, and it was like 4 of her friends. And so she was like, she's like smiling at me and saying, hey, what's your name? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, that's what I said. I said, what's your name? She said, my name is this. And I was like, give me a son. I want a son with you. And she was like, what? I was like, I want 2 sons. And she was like, whoa, wait. I was like, you didn't say no. So we're going to have 2 sons. So she's laughing. That's pretty crazy.
That's actually a really good line.
Right? And so she was like, no, we can't do that. I said, well, we can practice. So now, like, I brought up sex in like the first minute. And it's
perfect.
So we're down the, I kind of pull back for a bit. We're having a regular conversation. It's a group conversation. It's like food and drinks and stuff. And we get on the topic of sex. And so I grab her by the neck not like hard, but just, enough to know my hand is on her neck. And I was like,
Yeah.
do you like this in bed? And so she's just like, just lit up, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, come on. Just
And
be
you know
confident.
what? Even if it had ended right there, there's no chance that anyone is going to mistake you for being friend zone material.
No.
Period. Which is the biggest thing, the biggest problem I think that guys they trip over their own dicks about is they put themselves in the friend zone and then complain about being there. They're too fucking timid.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
I got time. Everything's the studio's an hour, but I got plenty of time. So what I would say to guys in the friend zone thing is like, you got to put in your head that I got enough friends. So stop acting like a friend to these women. Like, you got to say that asshole stuff you like to say to your friends, your homeboys and all that shit. You need to let that be known. Like, don't hide your sexuality. And I find like a lot of men, especially Western men, because I've hung out with guys in Europe, Canada, the United States, and it's like they have a hard time showing sexuality and sensuality. And I find that it's a mental block because my boy Rivellino, he talks about the cock shame thing, like, but it's not just cock shame. You are ashamed of being straight for whatever reason. I don't know why, but a lot of the way they present is asexual. Like, I'm a man, but I'm not really trying to have sex. I'm cool. No, I'm trying to have sex with you. Okay, like, I really don't care. Like, this is the general premise of this interaction. You're cool. I like you, and we probably got some great conversation. But in this, I want to have sex too. And so I find if you lead with all of who you are, you get much better results. But if you're trying to hide, you're playing hide the dick with these women, and you're like, well, no, it's not really like that. I'm a good guy. I'm dating intentionally. You're not gonna have sex a lot. You're gonna be in the friend zone. You're gonna be mad at her, and she's gonna be mad at you because you're like, well, you was gonna get some pussy, but I guess you don't want any, so I'm gonna go to somebody else.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's my thoughts on it. I got a whole lot more. I got a lot of stories, but it's up to you, Bunny. Whatever you want to talk about.
I love it. That is awesome. So what of everything that you can think of all the stories that you could tell, what is one story that you are willing to share on camera, sexually speaking or relationship speaking, that you think probably applies to the most general consensus of men? Shit. Or at least is aspirational enough that they will get off their asses and take your advice?
Golly, I have a lot of stories. I
I know.
I have some crazy stories. I would say that, I got a lot. I'm trying to think now, because when you say general, it's like some of mine don't fit the general idea. Some of my stuff is pretty out there. But I would say that, so in Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, he says that pretty women like having sex. And so I took him up on that. I was like, let me see if this is true. And so what I found is that the prettier the woman, the more sex she likes to have, just in general. So if you're a guy who has a high libido, whatever, I don't care what you look like, you need to be pursuing pretty women because they like having sex. I've dated a lot of beauty pageant queens and models, like a lot of women that's been in Vogue magazine. I date real models, not like, some bullshit.
Self-proclaimed Instagram models?
No, I'll be dating girls that be on the billboards and shit. Be in Coca-Cola, all the type of shit. So it's in magazines. But those women are easier to date and have sex with than your average girl.
Is it because they actually get genuinely approached so little because men are afraid?
Correct. Yeah. They think, well, wow, she's a model. She wouldn't talk to me. Yes, she would.
Yeah.
Yes, she would. And that's my first thing. The second thing I would say is for guys is that, like, let me think of some, I got some stories. You can have sex with her friends and get away with it. Like, that's a pretty easy thing to do. Like,
girls are pretty giving. They really are.
You have sex with this girl in the friend group, and then 6 months later you meet her other friend in the friend group. And a lot of guys will talk themselves out of doing that. Like, oh man, I don't want to have any drama. You're not gonna have any drama, bro. Like, you can have sex with multiple girls in a friend group. What's next? I would say general stuff. You'd be surprised at your age range up and down of what you can get. Who's interested in you. Y'all take with that what y'all will. Obviously, age of consent is 18. Y'all take it up from there, but you'd be surprised because y'all talk about this all the time. Like, I'm in my mid-30s now, and so like it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Like, I thought my peak was 25, 26 as a man. No. As far as women I can get, now it's really ridiculous. It's really, really crazy. The type of women I'm getting. Like, sometimes I'm like, is this for real? Like,
you're pitching yourself.
Yeah, like is that crazy? But then also it comes with experience and all that. I got some other stories too, though, just like crazy fun stories. But I would also say is you don't know what you get until you try, and that could be everything sexually related. Just ask. You'd be surprised what you can get. That girl, like, you might be wanting to do anal with her or some shit like that. She been wanting to ask. She been wanting you to ask because she been wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Or whatever depraved thing you got in your head, ask. Obviously, guys, you got to build intimacy. This is not something you just do randomly. I'm not talking to any weirdos out here. Okay, I'm talking to well-adjusted people. Okay,
exactly.
You know the process of what it takes to be with somebody and all that. But then from there, you can just ask. Hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Stories. I got some crazy shit.
Have you ever been like a relationship guy? Like, have you had relationships that didn't overlap or, that were, what was the longest relationship?
2 years.
How many?
2 years. 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you find the ability of keeping the sex fresh, keeping the connection strong, keeping that that just sexual energy alive in girls that you're keeping around for longer?
That's great. So let's say it's 2 different ways. So I had 2-year relationships. I had a 2-year relationship on a romantic relationship, like just my girlfriend. Yeah. But I also had women I've had sex with for years.
Exactly. So it applies both ways.
So I think the first thing is, it's like going to a buffet. You don't eat everything up on the first plate. So pace yourself, right? I didn't do all the crazy stuff in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
I waited, to explore more things with her. That's the first thing. Next thing I do usually is like, I'm not going to give you that level of frequency all the time. It's going to be ebbs and flows of sex. We'll do a lot, then we'll do a little bit. We'll do a lot, do a little bit, just depending on my life, what I got going on. Sometimes I'm in the United States. I can't be here, so we can't have sex. I'm not here, Yeah. Or from there, I think also is like, as men, and this goes back to the being in the gym, like, hey, I went and got stronger on squats, so I'm doing this differently now. Or I got stronger on rows, so like I'm doing these things differently in bed. So like there's a lot of variety just with our own physicality based around what we're doing in the gym. Next thing is sex toys. Get you some toys as a man. I'm 34. I'm not gonna. Anybody that's over 30, you already know it don't work like that no more as far as sex is concerned. You got to have some things there that's going to help you out if you're not all the way hard yet, or or you need to, or if you come before she does. So here's the next thing, guys. You gotta damn near ensure orgasm. How are you going to ensure orgasm? Or the majority of the times I have sex, she needs to be feeling an orgasm. So how do you do that, right? So like, man, my dick isn't big enough. You're a black guy, so no, it ain't none of that. Get a vibrator that is focused on clitoral stimulation. You need to get things that help with the G-spot for her as well. You need to have your home set up or your room set up in a way where it's comfortable for anything you're doing sexually, right? Like, again, you're not a woman. You're not, for us, we just unzip our zipper and have sex. For them, they got to be comfortable. So like, put some easy music on. You don't got to put on some crazy playlist. Put some easy music on, dim the lights. You don't need to talk a bit first. You need to have a glass of wine, whatever that looks like for you and how y'all are. Do things that just ease everything into it, because like it's hard to, so many other things that's going on in a day. They're thinking about, work or a bill needs to get paid or whatever. And you're like, come on, why aren't you coming here? Well, was it good? And it's like, well, no, it wasn't good because you didn't get me into the mood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find that, between the thing I said, like sex toys, learn how to give a decent massage. Learn how to give a decent full body massage, guys. It's not hard to do. Okay.
No.
Get some oil or some lotion, whatever, and just take the time. It ain't got to be super duper freaking and like that. Just give an actual massage. It just eases things. It makes things so much easier. All right. And again, it doesn't matter if you're going to be doing some rough stuff, some butt stuff, some whatever. Everything
it warms everything up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and also another thing is like, as far as how you text these women around sex and all that, guys, it ain't just news. Like, you can if you know how to write a bit, and this goes back to my guys who ain't necessarily the best looking or the fittest or anything. You need to be creating fantasies through text.
Yes.
Hey, when you get here, I want you like this, and I want you this, and I want this, and that, and that. And what do you want? Blah, 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 blah. And you create there's a reason why the romance novels are so huge in the United States, because it's just porn in written form. So it's like, well, if that works for the authors, it might work for you too. So bring that text game out, and just tell her what you want. What do you want? Ask what she wants, and don't be weird about it. Make it nice and comfortable. And just all those things help aid in orgasm, And,
and it makes her imagination actually work in your favor on a seduction level. I mean,
exactly.
It's huge.
Exactly. Am I saying everything? I mean, I don't know if I'm wrong about some of this stuff. This is what my experience.
God, no.
Yeah.
No, but I cannot wait until Fort Worth gets home so I can pounce on him, because I'm like, yes.
This is how it works, And so I think like I asked the guy, a friend of mine, he's like 26. I said, I asked him essentially, do you know when a woman orgasms? Do you ask them if they orgasm, whatever? He's like, what? I said, what you mean, what? Like, we having sex with these women, you need to know they had an orgasm. Like, well, I never really thought about that. I was like, see? And that's why you got the problems you got.
Yeah.
Because if you ugly dude and you make a woman orgasm, she gonna choose you every time.
That's right. It's true.
And it's not all about oral sex. Oh, just eat a pussy. No. You got some other things that work really well. So go to a sex shop and get you a few items, man. You ain't gotta get a bunch of weird stuff or anything. I'm not gonna say weird. You don't gotta get a lot of stuff that's way far out. You can get you one of them little bullet situations.
Well, and the more extreme stuff, you can own it, but keep it hidden, because if it's earlier in your sexual relationship with this one girl, but another girl likes it, it may scare, kind of startle the new one, even though she'll come around, more likely than not, she'll come around to it. But if you just like have the chains hanging from the ceiling from the get-go, we might have a problem.
No, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. Another thing I would say is like, when you're in bed with a woman, you got to give a woman an experience, whatever that looks like. You got to give her an experience. I remember like this is in college. This guy was like, I fucked this girl on top of the refrigerator just because I knew nobody would ever fuck her on top of a refrigerator.
That's awesome.
Like, it's simple. Shit, it worked.
I'm sure it's true.
Like she's not having sex with anybody else on top of a refrigerator in the kitchen. So like, whatever that looks like for you, man, you got to give her an experience, because if you're a guy that like subscribes to the whole, she's not yours, it's just your turn.
Yeah.
If that's what you subscribe to, I don't really just jump onto that bandwagon that tough. But like, if you subscribe to that, do the best you can for that for right now. So if you want her to come back, that she's not getting that for anybody else. So that's something to think about. And what else? I got stories, but they don't really. I got a lot of stories, but whatever. Shit. What else you got, Bunny? What other questions you got?
You are. I literally feel like we could have like an 18-hour conversation and never run out of things to say. I mean, I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. I want to encourage more people to live with your mindset.
Yeah.
I mean, no pressure, everybody, but
No,
I
ain't
mean,
no pressure,
it
but
really
it's
is.
fun.
It goes a long way.
And it's fun. It's always just applying yourself a bit more. That's all it is. Just apply yourself and be willing to learn, like, I'm gonna go back to sex just because it's fun to talk about. So, like, guys, for example, if you haven't made a woman cry during an orgasm, what are you doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's happened for me with a few women now, across time, not just like once in a 6-month period, like over several years, this has happened for me. Not just one woman, not just, but it's like, you got to get there by doing these things I'm talking about, like, I had some girls like for real cry because it was like they get so into it. It's such an emotional thing for them. Like, oh my God.
Well, you're literally taking us on an emotional roller coaster just in the act of sex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are all of these twists and turns, and there's a lot of sensations going on. There's a lot of from the start of the seduction to the end. It really is, if you're doing it right, a drama-filled, for lack of a better way to put it, emotional roller coaster. And
exactly.
so,
Exactly, and
we love that.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that, like, I think I wouldn't say any man, but I think most guys can get better at what they think sex is for them, and I think they can get better at just how they approach women, how they interact with women by the simple things. Like, the better you get the better you get, the more you learn, the more you get to show someone else, and the more you get to teach somebody else. So, like, keep studying, keep learning, and keep getting better. Like, and then, like, just like simple hygiene stuff. Like, yo, you want a girl to do some old wild shit to you? Fucking shave your pubes, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into all the sex acts, but just like use butt wipes, use the sanitary wipes and all that. Take a couple showers a day, because these things, when a woman sees that you're clean, she's like, well, shit, I know you're taking 2 showers a day. I can do whatever to him. We can do whatever. But if you're like, dirty fingernails all the time, and you don't work in an auto environment, or working outside all the time, guys, cleanliness goes a long way. Also, cleanliness in your house. That's the next thing. You want to be a player? Players don't have dirty houses. That's just how it works. If you're gonna be having a rotation of women, you can't have a dirty home. My home is clean at all times. It's clean right now. Because
do you have a cleaning service that comes in, or do you keep your own home?
I have two maids, and I keep my house clean. So my house is always organized and clean, because I can't have all this hair around my house, guys. It's a lot of hair in my house at any given time.
And I do feel like, especially in the States, people overestimate how the cost associated with having someone just simply come in and do some deep cleaning. It is not an expensive thing.
No, it's
the more expensive thing is just how well you tip. I mean, that's the most expensive part of our cleaning service expenses, is just how we reward, the great service. But it is not an expensive thing.
And that's my thing. Somebody's ringing at my door, but I don't know who it is. I'm trying to see.
We're both dealing with people coming to our doors.
Yeah, but I'm too far away from my door to even get up, because I'm just not. But anyway, yeah. So, like, I think I think this might be my driver. I think this is my driver. You go to the studio? Not yet. I'm going to. Yeah. He's gonna pick me up to take me to the studio, but all right, now we gotta wrap it up now. But
absolutely.
What I would say to everybody, as far as like the general overarching theme of this conversation, is create your own lifestyle, whatever it looks like. You don't have to be rich to do that, but you need to create a way of life. You need to create a conscious world that you have created, and a conscious reality that somebody else can enter. Right? Yeah. First thing. And the next thing is work on yourself. Work on yourself, and don't be scared to do your part. Okay, your part is making sure you're well groomed, well kept, and fit. And anybody can do that, guys. It doesn't cost a lot of money to get a haircut. It doesn't cost a lot of money to have clean, iron clothes on. that match. Okay, like that match your style and match your personality. That you don't have to be a millionaire to do those things, and you can always just say hey to anybody. All right, it's not creepy to say hey, how you doing? Nobody has gone on the internet and said it's creepy. Guy asked me how I was doing today. You know, nobody's saying that. All right?
It's true. It's true. People are so scared though at this point.
Yeah,
Stephen, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing your wisdom today, man.
Yeah.
We've got to get back together. I mean, we've got to have a version 2. There's no way around it.
I'm down.
You go have a great day. Where is the best place for my people to find you if they don't already follow you?
So if you go to any of my social media networks, social media platforms, so Twitter, you just click on my link, storylinks.card, and you get access to all my social media. But Twitter is my name, Stephen Storey, at Stephen Storey. If you got anything you want to say to me, holler at me over there. And
love it.
I'll talk to you. You
are incredible and fascinating and wonderful, and I genuinely appreciate you taking the time. I enjoyed this conversation so much. And I know that a lot of the people watching or who will watch have gained a lot from it. So thank you so much. And thank you everyone who tuned in today, whether you're live or after the fact. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Now I fumble with the button saying end broadcast for 20 minutes. Oh.